Hello everybody, we are back on the Great Western Mainline from Paddington in London to Reading to the west. Today we're going to be doing the Christmas closure scenario. Should be around 40 minutes, which means it'll probably be about an hour video due to loading times and possible delays. So, it's the Christmas holidays and Network Rail have closed London Paddington as part of the Crossrail construction programme. Trains are being turned back at Ealing Broadway. So we'll load this up. So this is the third scenario out of the 5 given to us on the Great Western Express DLC. I believe today we're driving HST high-speed train, also known as Intercity 125 or the Class 43, because it has so many names. We are, as you know, if you've watched all the videos, we are completing all scenarios, all scenarios, yeah, that's the right word, all scenarios, all tutorials, everything together. Right now, my time, it's around 7-8 o'clock-ish, and I've had a busy day, but obviously, videos to record, so if my voice sounds a little croaky, then I apologise. So today we're in the Class 43, next week we will be driving, after that we'll also be driving a Class 66 as well, and / HST. So yes, something to look forward to.
With London Paddington closed due to engineering works, you've been called on to assist with the trains being turned back at Ealing Broadway.
Missed that checkpoint. If anyone remember last week's video, well, guess what we're doing now? Waiting. Where's our train? Oh, it's here. I just thought we might have to wait a while then. I was like, I cannot see our train anywhere. I don't know if we're getting on as a passenger or as a driver yet. So. Our train has arrived. With no driver, which is obviously great.
Thanks for helping out today. With your local knowledge, the manoeuvres at Ealing Broadway should go smoothly. When you're ready, take control of the train.
I've unlocked the doors first. Put this into forwards. Or release that just into initial. Oh, this train does have TWP, yes. Anyway, I'll turn on the ISD, AWS. I don't know how to turn on. Oh, that's something to do. That's just TPWS. That's not TPWSIS. Sorry, guys. Yes. I believe we're riding down to Ealing Broadway, and then we drop off again, drive up to the yard, we turn back, and we come back. I think that's how I remember it. Lock the left doors. The horn sounds a little bit quiet. So our next stop is Ealing Broadway. Now, obviously we're coming to the end of 2018 now. And I believe they went to, like, they were making this in 2015, I believe. Crisp 15 or 2016. No. But, so the closures for Crossrail, obviously, are no longer happening. But it's a nice scenario anyway. See, there's no actual electric cabling yet. You can see that they're getting ready on this side of the line at least. So we have 12 miles to go. Make sure we catch that. That's on day. Our wipers are not as good. Everything seems fine. So obviously it is almost Christmas. So hopefully our winter will be snowy this year in Britain. Means I can make more videos. This guy slowly looking out for any speed changes. Other than that, really, though, we haven't really got any. I mean, there obviously is a rush to get down there, but because the closures, they won't. I don't think they penalise drivers as such for being late. Because this is set in the 1st of January, so this is what, New Year's Day, so shouldn't be many people travelling. Obviously, I don't work for any train company, but in my mind, if I know that I was closing everything at Paddington, I would make all HSTs stop at Reading, and then I'd get like the DMUs, so the diesel multiple units, like the 3 cars that we drive, and get them to bring people down to Ealing Broadway. I don't know, I just feel like that'd be a better option. But obviously I don't drive the trains. Obviously it's what they have in stock. Slowly crawling towards 125. As long as our signals are green, I'm quite happy. I really wish you could zoom, like in this game. Because it's quite hard to read, obviously, the speedometer at the bottom there. I mean, obviously I've got my one on the right here, so I don't need to physically see it. It would be quite nice to see it. And also the bright green light really doesn't help. Is the sanding in? I've kind of forgot if there's sanding on this train. I don't think there is. I'm happy I'm driving my HST. Which 0.6 miles to go. Oh no, the tracks are covered with snow. Something tells me we're not gonna stop. I would actually quite like to see how we're on the platform. Okay. Well, anyone who wants to get off the train will have to use the last door and make a big jump. But other than that, we stopped fine. That was very close to a catastrophe there. Probably need a bunch of new brake pads now, just gonna rip all ours up.
Okay, you're clear to shunt into Acton Yard.
So Acton Yard is here. So not too far away. I'm still shocked that we actually stopped. I kind of forgot how the brakes work on these trains, like the strength of them. I also forgot we're going 125 miles an hour and not like standard 80 or something like that. So we'll probably start braking from 1.5 miles away. Because full service is not very comfortable for any kind of passenger. He's trying to go 15 miles an hour now, not 50 as we enter the area we need to stop in. So a consume feature would be really good now. I accidentally just held down my triggers. But other than that, we'd been fine. We haven't almost given ourselves and all the passengers whiplash. We haven't almost gone through a red signal and ended the scenario. Everything seems fine.
Close down the desk and walk to the other cab.
Full service, that is idle. tail lights even. That's cool, I didn't realise that showed a diagram. Shall we be naughty? In Northeast Corridor, I was messing around on service mode. And I jumped on the back of a train, a bit like someone who likes to ride the rails for free. And let's just say I accidentally clicked the I accidentally clicked the detach on the cargo train at the back, and about 3 of the carriages got detached. There was a train behind that, which was then stuck at it then rode into the carriages, and was then pushing them. Bearing in mind that was a passenger service. And yeah, I kind of caused some havoc. And yeah, wasn't the best experience, to say the least. This is double yellow. So I'm guessing we have to drive to Ealing Broadway and then we'll carry on up to Slough, where the other driver will hopefully take over and not be invisible. I'm sure we'll have invisible train drivers soon going everywhere though. The DLR Docklands Light Railway already is controlled by computers. So I mean, obviously it'd take a lot of infrastructure upgrades and things like that. But have we still not? Oh, I was gonna say. Now we're not gonna have a repeat of what happened last time. Come in nice and steadily. I believe the last time I did this scenario, I also did what I did at that red light then. I think the first time I failed it. Which, I mean, really should have taught me a lesson. Never to do it again. You know. Mr. Sausages never listens to what he should actually do. I think I may have left the safety systems on. Anyway, I'll turn these on. There we go. So back another 13 miles towards Slough. And I believe that is where we change over. So, in my last video, which was the Westworld, which obviously included a lot of waiting, which I apologise about, I didn't get to finish. I had to wait another 10 minutes. So basically, I went away from my Xbox and then headed over back to, I went and got a drink, come back here later when that time was up, finished it. I got all my credits, but I didn't screenshot it or anything. So when we finish this scenario, if you click pause, as I click continue, it should show what it was, and then it'll give me my other stuff. So you should be able to pause it if you really want to see how much I leveled up. Not that much. Not that interesting though. Not that interesting didn't sound in my head like properly. That's why I stuttered. So, at least DSD makes sure that you're doing what you should be. So look, that writing on the right, because my TV is not really far. It's quite a distance away. I think that says 11, I think. So from Reading they could definitely expand the route, which I think would be quite a cool and interesting thing to do. Because I mean, London Paddington to Reading obviously is a really busy mainline, but there's only 5 scenarios at the moment, and also it's one of the shortest routes. I think West Somerset Railway is a little bit shorter, but in a train that goes 125 miles an hour, where you can't stop anywhere in between, on service mode especially, it's from Paddington to Reading, no stop. Sorry about that, guys. I had a little sneeze. Sorry. So a route that goes to London Paddington to Reading, where HSTs only stop at Paddington and Reading, it can be quite boring. That's why I drive a lot of the Class 166, because doing this from Paddington to Reading, back and forth, does get quite boring. And obviously you can always say, oh well, it helps me learn where to brake and learn to do this and learn to do that. Yes, that is really good and helpful, but if there was a service that went up to Oxford and then also went down to Bristol, and they expanded it and slowly brought it out in stages, it would allow the player to have so many more experiences. Because if you think, if they expanded the route up to Oxford, well, that's HSTs that can go London Paddington to Reading to Oxford, and then there's also the Class 166 which can go Paddington, Reading, Oxford, or Reading to Oxford, or Oxford to Paddington, and it just gives that other main station. And then you can also go off and go further down the route. You can go to Bristol, Swansea, Cardiff, Swindon, Didcot, all the way down to Penzance if they wanted to. And that'd just be quite a really nice experience where you have the ability. And if they did expand the entire route to go to where all Great Western Mainline trains went, owned by GWE, you'd have a service leaving Paddington almost every 2 to 5 minutes. And even though the service mode list would be really long, I know that I could go to Paddington and I could drive a train for 3 hours and go to Penzance, or however long it is to get Penzance, and it gives the user that ability to expand the time. Because now the longest route I can do is stopping service from Paddington or Reading and doing that, and that only takes a little longer than an hour. And sometimes I want to place for hours, but if I did a slow train that went up to Slough, I'd have to take a slow train back because no HST stop there. I could do a semi-stopper up to Reading and a HST back, but that is just 34 miles of track or something like that. That is just I've driven this route number of times, many numbers of times, because Console only had this route for 6 with no other routes, so I drove this probably about 3 times a week, up and down and up and down, and I enjoyed it. I'm not saying I didn't, but it would be really good if they expanded it, because this route kind of, I don't know, even though I don't live near it, this is my favourite route throughout the UK, the Great Western Mainline. I think it'd just be incredible if they were able to expand that route off to many other destinations. Because it could get the company more money. Because if they say, oh, we're going to do Reading to Bristol expansion, where you'll have to own the Great Western, which comes with the game. But then if they said, we're doing Bristol to Swansea, well, you'll have to buy Bristol to Reading to Bristol pack, and then buy that one. And one thing they could also do is, obviously it's redeveloping the route, but they could add in electric overhead lines, and that would add in 2 new trains. And if they were able to get Heathrow Express on board and TfL, they could add in the Heathrow Express services as well. And that would just create such a better experience. But I do love this one though, so I wouldn't get rid of it at all. This is the route that got me into train simulation. And it's why I'm making these videos. Also, we got the Train Sim World CSX, if you remember, not on consoles but on PCs. I do have that DLC, but I won't be playing it in this series because it is obviously PC only. And I can stream on PC, but it isn't as enjoyable as on console. Sorry guys, I'm having to stand up now just so I can actually see what that number says. because with a snowy white backdrop with the white number, and when you're quite far away, it does actually make it quite hard to see. Anyway, when it gets to 1 mile out, because we're not going the full 125, I will stop power then. The yellow. Hopefully we're clearing to Slough, because I don't really want to have to stop. And also, when I sneezed earlier, you saw the other HST going the other way, and that would have been heading back to Ealing Broadway, and then turning around and coming back. Oh, heading to Ealing, and then carrying on to the Acton Mainline Junction. So now apply the initial brake. You guys may also be wondering why I'm slowing down so much back then when I put on full service, and that's just because if I overrun this red signal now, I'll have to restart the scenario. I mean, for you, you'd never know, because I would have restarted. I probably would have mentioned it in my video, but guess that we're stopping now. Anyway, yeah, I'd have to restart the entire scenario, which for anyone else, that's like, oh, okay, you just had to restart it. For me, that's another 40 minutes to an hour of my time. So this scenario has actually been less than 40 minutes because we had to load in, which was about 2-3. Watch you see, wait now. Wait until your 40 minutes is up. Should be able to climb down now. I literally just did. There we go.
It all runs smoothly. We made a good team there. Have a great day.
We made a great team. You didn't do anything. You just told me what to do. We made a great team today. Well, yes, I did with myself. You just woke me up on New Year's Day to come and work. So there's my levels, you would have just seen them. So we're slowly leveling up. Citrus is, my character's now level 7. We're level 8 on this route and level 3 in the class 43. Right guys, I thank you all very much for watching. on this video, which actually did run to time. Our next video will be the aggregate industries scenario on the Great Western Mainline as well. Driving the Class 66. Class 66. Good evening, good night, goodbye, wherever you are. Have a lovely day, even though it's dark where I am. And I'll see you all very soon. Good night, and goodbye.